Hi, and welcome to How to Have Fun, Play Large, and Retire Smiling. I'm David Steele. I am founder of Relationship Coaching Institute, and this is a very, very important program for me to do for you today. It's a very important conversation. We really have one chance to get it right in this life, I think. We're only on this planet one time for just a few decades. And so how do you want to live your life? And, I had a little bit of a rocky start when I was a kid and, became a helping professional. And when I stumbled across this emerging profession of coaching in 1996 or 97, my life changed dramatically. And I've learned a lot since then. And so I'd like to share with you today some of the things that I've experienced, some of the things that I've learned about how to have fun, play large, and retire smiling with the limited time that we have on this planet. So, if you have a strong calling to make a difference in the world, if you have a mission that you're passionate about, if the status quo or being comfortable isn't enough for you, and really we're talking about me, but if you resonate with this, this is great too. If being creative is fun for you, if you want to spend your days doing what you love, if being of service is more important than fame or fortune, being of service more important than fame or fortune, if you want to forge your own path and feel suffocated doing anything else, if how you make money is more important than how much you make, if you're willing to take the leap, trust the universe and yourself, then this program is absolutely for you. And what I've done here is I've kind of described, where I'm coming from. But also, let's look at it from the other direction. If you don't feel much of a strong calling to make a difference in the world, if you don't really have a mission, you're not clear about what it is if you do have one, you're not very passionate about it, there's not a whole lot of energy behind it for you. If you prefer being comfortable, if, you really don't want to shake up the status quo and you prefer to keep things as they are and be comfortable, you don't want to work too hard. If, being creative isn't what juices you up, you'd rather just, keep things the way they are. If you'd rather, spend your days, in routine, in being comfortable and secure, if fame or fortune would be great, if you'd love to have your own reality show, if you'd love to have the spotlight on you, if you'd really rather not be a pioneer, you'd really want and prefer something proven, something guaranteed, and it's kind of scary to do something different, do something new. If making money is very, very important to you, if the amount that's in your bank account, really matters a lot, more than anything else, that's the priority. If taking a leap, taking a risk, and trusting the universe or yourself, that's kind of scary. Let's stay safe. Let's stay comfortable. Then this program is not for you, and this whole point of view, this way of being, is not for you. And that's okay. If you take a look around the world, there are 7 billion people on this planet, and not everybody is meant to live life on the edge. Everybody has their own path. So the conversation that I'd like to have with you today is how to have fun, play large, and retire smiling if that's what you want. If you're willing to stretch to get there, if you're willing to take a few risks and be creative, shake the status quo, and if being of service is more important and your mission is what you're passionate about, and how you make money is much more important than how much you're making. Because, again, we only have one chance to get it right on this planet in the limited time we have here. So a little bit about me. Chances are you might know me. You might know some of my story or maybe all of it. But, I'd like to share a bit more about myself with you. I don't really consider myself, very, very special. if you see me walking down the street, you won't pick me out of a crowd if you don't know me. And so, how did I get here? So let me share with you a little bit about that, because if I can do this, if I can have fun in my life and in my work, and if I can play large, and if I can retire smiling, then you absolutely can too. So for me, I graduated high school. I, lost my way for a few years, and then I, restarted up, and I graduated San Jose State University, a local university. I had to work full time. Couldn't afford to put myself through school, anyway else. It took me 8 years to get my degrees, and San Jose State. We're not talking Harvard. We're not talking Stanford. We're talking about the regular, close by, state university. And then I decided what I wanted to do with my interest in psychology and making a difference in the world is I wanted to become a marriage and family therapist. So I did. And when I did, I ended up going to private practice. I wanted to specialize with couples, and so I did. And I struggled for a long time. I, signed up for every insurance and managed care panel I could. This whole marketing thing was quite confusing and scary, and I had no idea how to build my practice, how to get clients. And so, the insurance companies and managed care, and, I got some contracts here and there. I got by. And over the years, I became more and more successful. It became easier to get private pay clients. I eventually let go of my insurance reimbursement clients, and I went full private pay. But, my specialty with couples, this is what I really, really wanted to do. I really had a strong mission and passion for, family and couples and marriage, but as a therapist, the couples that came to me were on the verge of divorce. They were in serious trouble. And so my job was to help them save their marriage, and often they didn't even want to. They were in pain. They just wanted the pain to be over. They hated their situation. Often they hated their spouse by the time they came to me. It was really hard work. And I was burning out on it after a while. And then I discovered this emerging profession of coaching. I became so excited about the possibilities, about the new way of looking at people and of your problems and your goals. And so I sought coaching training. I got coaching for myself. I got excited about applying coaching to relationships. And so I started doing it. And the dam broke loose. My practice skyrocketed very quickly. I got very creative. I was having fun. I was making a lot of money. I was conducting singles events. I was, working with singles and couples. It never occurred to me to work with singles ever in my life. But when I became a coach, it seemed like, pretty natural. If I wanted to make a difference in the world of relationships, that's where we start. We start when you're single. And so that ended up pretty quickly founding Relationship Coaching Institute because people wanted me to train them. They wanted me to show them, how I was doing what I was doing, how I was accomplishing what I was accomplishing. And here I am after, years of struggle, finally, having fun and, getting my practice and my business and my profession to where I really, really wanted it to be. And honestly, I didn't want to train anybody. I didn't think I could train anybody. I initially said no. But, I kind of felt an obligation that, this is too good to keep to myself. And I did need to share it because, lowering the divorce rate and making an impact in the world of relationships was really important to me, and I realized I could not do that all by myself. So I founded Relationship Coaching Institute, and it became a lot of fun, actually, training others and collaborating and, trying to solve the problem about, okay, how do you coach somebody who's single? How do you coach a couple as opposed to doing therapy on them? And how do you help a single find the love of their life, without being a dating coach? Okay, here's how you flirt, here's how you dress, here's where you go to meet people, do this, don't do that. That's not what a coach does. That's not what our clients need. So how do you coach singles? And so 8 years after I founded Relationship Coaching Institute, I ended up publishing a book for singles called Conscious Dating. And this was based on our coaching program and experiences in coaching singles. And honestly, I didn't intend to write a book. I didn't even want to write a book. I thought, there's lots of books out there. Books don't change anything. People need coaching. Coaching is how we're going to help singles, not by publishing a book for singles. But I had so many people telling me, you got to write a book, you got to write a book, you got to write a book. This is how to get the word out there. You say, okay, so I wrote the book, and I'm glad I did. It really does help get the word out there. And that led to a book deal. John Wiley & Sons, one of the largest trade publishers in the United States, one of their senior editors was at a conference, and I was speaking to a group of therapists about coaching. One of their editors was there in the audience, and afterwards approached me and asked me to write a book. Could you write a book about coaching for therapists? You seem to have a good handle on it. You seem to have walked your talk and done it yourself. You seem to be able to explain it very, very clearly. Can you write a book? We'll publish it for you. And given that with Conscious Dating, I had tried to get a publisher for it and failed. Publishers all turned it down because, too much competition. There's so many books out there for singles. We don't want to take a chance on this one. To have a major publisher come to me and offer me a book deal just plopped in my lap. Here it is. Write this book for us, please, will you? That was amazing. And so I did. And then when I completed that book, that book is really about, okay, if you're a helping professional, how can you expand your practice with coaching? How can you leverage your clinical expertise to coach people, to get coaching clients? You already have experience helping people. And once you've helped them with their clinical problems, then they're ready for the next level. And what is the next level? Coaching is one of the best modalities for that next level. And then you can expand your practice that way, or if you're like me, and you find it more fun than the clinical work, go ahead and transition to being a coach. So that's what that book was all about. So, by the end of the book, okay, you have a 6-figure practice. You're doing great work. You're really enjoying your work. You're making a big difference for your clients. What's next? And so what's next is what I call the $1 Million Private Practice. And John Wiley & Sons published the book, and I invited them to publish the book. I said, well, here's the next step. And it's about going from the one-to-one model of having a successful practice helping people to the one-to-many model and making a larger difference in the world. And so what I'd like to share with you today is some of the ideas that led me to that. And, hold on. There's that residual cough. The cold left a long time ago, but cough is still a little bit there. And then my latest book, just published a few months ago, Radical Marriage. This is about the next evolution of marriage. This is the logical extension to conscious dating, that if you are single and you want to find the love of your life, and you do, well, what's next? Well, you want to have a great relationship. You want to have an extraordinary marriage. You want to live your life together as, your greatest adventure together. And so this is, quite a body of work as I'm looking at this. And I'm just a regular guy, a marriage and family therapist from San Jose State. And really, if I can do this, you can do this. This is where my work led me. This is where my passion led me. It wasn't because I'm special. It wasn't because I started out to be, famous or rich, or I wanted to write a bunch of books. Not at all. But this is just where my work and my passion and being of service led me. And honestly, if I can do it, you can too. So let's talk about how to have fun, play large, and retire smiling. Now, having fun, my definition of having fun is doing what you want, when you want, how you want. To me that's fun. Fun isn't always about recreation, playing tennis or, doing recreational things is cool, but I want to have fun with my life, and what is fun? Work is fun. Work is fun when it's meaningful. Work is fun when you get to do what you want, when you want, and how you want. So how do you do that? What's involved with that? And by the way, I love this graphic. I love this picture of this older guy, and he's on his laptop. He's got his cup of coffee there. He's dressed casually. He's got his feet up. This is me. It's not a picture of me, but, this is the kind of lifestyle that I have and the kind of lifestyle that I aspire to. And, this is me now in my late 50s. This is me in my 60s. This is me in my 70s. And this is what I want for everybody, to be able to have fun doing what you want, when you want, and how you want. And so what does that involve? It definitely involves doing what you love. When you're following your passion and doing what you love, you are having fun. Now, what if you don't have a passion or you don't know what your passion is? Well, it's very simple. You go where your energy wants to go. You have energy. You have interests. You have things that you're pulled to, things that you're curious about, things you want to learn more about, things you want to do. And if you don't, and you want to, you feel like your life is empty or you feel like your life is missing something, but you're not sure exactly what it is, then guess what? Get a coach. We have very effective, very specialized strategies for helping you discover your passion. Having fun involves working only with clients that give you energy. When you are a helping professional, and if you are, chances are you have worked with clients that just drained you, that you had to work really, really hard just to make it through a session with them. And it's a really hard way to make a living. When you are working with clients that give you energy, that you love, that you totally want to support, that you are excited about working with, they give you energy, and you do your best work with them. And it is fun. The time flies, and they make amazing progress. And it is totally possible to identify the kinds of clients that you love working with and go after them and work with them. There's no need to do work that you don't want to do and work with people who you'd really rather not work with. Private pay only. If you have to bill insurance, if you have to apply for grants, is that fun? No. I don't know any helping professional who wants to bill insurance companies, who wants to work with insurance companies. And one of the best days of my professional life was the day I was able to totally let go of insurance reimbursement and went private pay only in my practice. So having fun as a helping professional means private pay only. You are getting paid directly from your clients. That is what's most clean, and it is also what's most effective, because if your clients are paying for you out of pocket, they are motivated. They are invested. And working with committed, motivated, invested clients is fun, and they make progress. They have astounding accomplishments because they're invested. And if somebody else is paying, like an insurance company or a grant or something, then it doesn't work out that way. It's just not as effective, and it's not as fun for us. Also, to me, having fun involves charging what you're worth. And a lot of helping professionals, we have issues with money. We don't feel comfortable charging or asking to be paid or charging a lot. But you know what? You make a difference in people's lives. You help them overcome their biggest problems and challenges. You help them accomplish their biggest goals. That is worth a lot. I mean, if you're a coach and you specialize in working with singles, what is it worth for a single person to find the love of their life as a result of your support? I mean, how much would they pay? How much would it be worth? $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $50,000. What's it worth to find your soulmate? And when you are charging what you're worth, when you're charging an amount that really values your services and the results that you provide, you feel good about it and your work is fun for you. If you feel like you're undercharging because you don't think people can afford, your fees, or you're providing discounts or whatever, you're not feeling that great about it, then it's not fun. So charging what you're worth is fun. It makes your work more enjoyable and profitable, but more enjoyable, and actually it's the better benefit to your clients because they benefit from what they invest in. And the more they invest, the more benefit they get. Having fun also means avoiding the security trap. Now, the security trap means that if you're worried about paying your bills, you're worried about survival, then you tend to do what will ensure your survival, what will pay your bills. You don't say no to a client because that's income. You don't want an empty spot in your calendar. And when you make those kinds of decisions, it becomes a pattern. It's a habit. And so making security-oriented decisions becomes a habit that interferes with you having fun. Because if you are more focused on security, you will not be having fun. You will not be able to play large either. So when you feel you are doing your best work and you're getting paid what you're worth and you're working with clients that you love and you're making decisions, as if, because it's the reality in my mind, if you're making decisions as if you only got one life to live and you're going to live it to the max, then you are not making decisions that are security-oriented. So having fun means avoiding the security trap. And for me anyway, having fun means being creative. And there's this whole thing about energy. Your passion is your energy, and following where your energy wants to go, that's following your bliss, that's following your passion. Being creative is a form of energy as well. It's like, wouldn't it be great if this cool tool for couples existed? Wouldn't it be great if, I had a painting like this? It's wherever your energy wants to go and whatever you want to create. And maybe you don't have any creative energy. Maybe you've never thought of anything, new that you wanted to create. And, that's okay. But when you are doing what you love, it's amazing how often your creative energy gets stimulated. And being able to follow that through and say, ooh, I just thought of a new cool service I could provide. Or, ooh, I have a whole new niche that I could serve. Or, ooh, here's a new workshop I could put together. When this kind of creative energy comes up and you're able to follow it and bring it to fruition and it makes a difference for people, it's quite fulfilling and fun. Having fun also involves financial freedom. I don't know anybody that doesn't want financial freedom. And what does financial freedom mean? It means working because you want to, not because you have to. It means you're not worried about money. It's that you have enough saved, you are generating enough, and you have ways to generate income whenever you want. So when you are a helping professional, especially private pay, we have the ability to get a client whenever we want. That is financial freedom. Now, how many people in the world can rest comfortably and securely knowing I can make money whenever I want? That's cool, and that's also fun. It allows you to have fun because you realize you can take a risk. If it doesn't work out, no problem. You can pay your bills. You can make money whenever you want. So then you work because you want to, not because you have to. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is my take on having fun as a helping professional, especially as a coach, but also, as a therapist or a minister, anybody who's in the business full-time of helping people. doing what we love, following our passion, working with only the clients that give us energy, private pay only, charging what we're worth, not, being security-oriented, being able to be creative, and experiencing financial freedom. That is fun. Let's talk about playing large. Playing large to me means making the biggest difference in the world possible. And you never know. You never know what you're capable of. You never know how many people you can reach. You never know what impact you can have unless you let yourself off the leash and just go for it. I never imagined, as a marriage and family therapist in my four-walled office working with, individuals and couples, I never imagined that I'd be reaching people worldwide, that I would make a difference in the lives of thousands, tens of thousands, who knows, by this time, 17 years later, millions of singles and couples. If I can do it, you can do it too. And it's simply, the intention and desire to play as large as you possibly can. So here is a wonderful truth about playing large. The more people you help, the more money you make. Makes sense, doesn't it? But you have to leverage it. You can't give it away. Now, how do you leverage it? 3 very effective ways to leverage helping large numbers of people. Now, you don't have to do this. You can work with clients one-on-one. That's what traditional private practice is all about. But playing large means reaching as many people as you can, making the biggest difference in the world that you can. And how do you do that? Groups, products, and programs. So group services as opposed to individual services. That means, like a coaching group or therapy group, or it means like workshops and classes, seminars. And products involve things like books or a home study course or an online, self-coaching program or something like that. And then programs. And what a program is, it is taking, what you do with your clients and providing a tangible structure for it. Chances are when we work with our clients, we do pretty much the same kinds of things in the same way, in the same order. And there's, various, differences, between clients, but often we find ourselves, repetitively doing similar things over and over and over again. Well, you can package that into a program. Give it a name. It has a structure, Module 1, Module 2, and Module 3. Give it a price point, and then you are selling a program rather than your individual services. And one of my favorite mottos is sell programs, not sessions. Sell programs, not sessions. So don't try to sell yourself as a practitioner by the hour. You are selling sessions. Market yourself, market your program and the transformation that your program delivers. So I could be David Steele, relationship coach for singles. Hire me, by the hour, and I'll help you with your troubles in finding, in dating and all that. Or sign up for my conscious dating program for singles and find the love of your life within 90 days. Which would you rather do? Hire me by the hour or sign up for a program that delivers a certain result? It's a big difference. And with programs, you can deliver them more affordably for people. So rather than hiring you for $100, $200, $500 an hour, they are signing up for a group program. You make more money, and it's less effort for you because you're serving a group rather than a bunch of individuals. So that is, probably the foundational approach to the $1 Million Private Practice and how you might, leverage, the more people you help, the more money you make. We only have so many hours in a day. So how are we going to play large if we're packing our day with individual clients? We can't. But how do you get away from doing that? How do you generate income and play large and leverage your expertise and your business and not be dependent upon, individual clients? It's through groups and products and programs. And yeah, you can still work with individual clients. So, more about playing large. Ego versus service. Now, what I've noticed is that many folks get into the helping profession and they are coming from ego, honestly. They believe they're right about something, they have a certain point of view, they have a certain belief system, and they just think it's the best thing, and they want everybody else to do it and agree with it. And they want to be, rich and famous for it. And, there are some that have done it very successfully, and there are a lot that are still trying and failing at it miserably. What I've noticed is that if you're coming from ego and you're making it about you, it is quite a struggle because you have to convince people of something. You have to convince people to trust you. You have to convince people that you're right about something. When you're coming from service, it's almost effortless. You don't have to convince people of anything. You simply show up to be of service to them. How can I help you? What do you need? What do you want? What's your biggest challenge? What would be most helpful to your challenge? Here, try this, no charge. When you are coming from service, you tend to develop goodwill, and people tend to trust you and be attracted to you. And how do you know whether you're coming from ego or service? Look in the mirror. Look at what kind of feedback you're getting. Look at how attached you are to your way of thinking, to your way of doing, and how you're trying to get people to do it or agree with it versus just being of service. In my work, and even when I train people, I don't believe I'm the last word about anything. I don't believe I'm right about anything. Of course I have my opinions, but they're my opinions. I don't pretend that they are fact or truth or they're right for everybody else. And everybody is entitled to their own reality and their own truth. So being more open-minded and not being attached to your own truth, your own reality, is one way of being of service. It's important for building $1 million private practice. It's important for playing large because if you want large numbers of people to trust you, you can't be coming off like you're trying to manipulate them or control them or have power over them or are superior to them or are out for yourself. People tend to respect and trust and want to follow somebody who is truly service-oriented. The other thing about playing large is your mission is paramount. You can't play large if you don't have a mission. Now, your mission is the difference you want to make in the world. And this is what you're going to talk about. This is what you're going to do. This is what you live and breathe. This is what you become known for. Who am I? Who is David Steele? Chances are, if you've experienced my work in any way, if you read any of my books, any of my articles, gone to any of my websites, you get a strong sense of who David Steele is and what my mission is. And, I'm the relationship guy. I care about relationships. I have a strong mission to make a difference in the field of relationships, especially for couples, especially for marriage, and for singles that want that. And so what are you known for? What do you want to become known for? What do you want to do with your time? And what do what gives you energy? What are you passionate about? What do you feel like you're on this planet to accomplish? And that's your mission. And once you have a strong sense of that and you're willing to pursue it no matter what, then you can play large. And then your message. So your mission is what you want to accomplish, and your message is, what you have to say about it. It's the main message that you want to deliver, that you want to stand for. For me, for singles, it's, Don't settle. You can find the love of your life. You can, live happily ever after. Don't settle. Don't give up hope. Don't be discouraged. Don't be frustrated. Believe it and then do it. And settling is a self-fulfilling prophecy. Of course it's not going to happen if you don't feel like you deserve it, if you feel like all the good ones are taken, if it's not going to happen for you. So, very, very clear message that can be, delivered in a sentence. This is what I stand for. This is what I want the world to know or to take a look at or to consider. And this is not coming from ego, by the way. It's not because you're attached to being right about this. This is just because this is who you are. You cannot help but show up in this way. You're not some cloud that's going to shape itself for anybody and everybody. You stand for something. So your message is what you stand for. And then playing large involves having a vision both for yourself, for the world, and for your business. So this is the world and your business as you want it to be. It's the contribution that you want to make. And the darn thing is, when it comes to reality, perception is the reality, right? We create our reality. Reality is subjective. So we can live in a world that is unsafe and scary and everybody's a jerk. Or we can live in a world that is wonderful and everybody is loving. And, world peace is just around the corner. So what is your vision for yourself, for the world, and for your business, and following that vision? Because you can make it happen. I had a vision of marriage, of the next evolution of marriage, of once you've achieved happily ever after, what's beyond that? What does it look like to have an extraordinary marriage? And that turned into the book Radical Marriage. That's my vision. That's what I want to create for myself. It's, the contribution that I want to make. It's how I want all marriages to look like. However, it's not about me, so I'm not going to say, you only have a good marriage if your marriage looks like this. That's not my message at all. In fact, my message is the opposite, is, having the kind of marriage that you really want. So vision, incredibly important in playing large, having a clear vision and then, believing in it and pursuing it and making it real. And you're going to find people that resonate with it, that they share your vision. And that's going to be your community. That's going to be your tribe. And we'll talk a little bit later about how playing large does involve, involving others. Playing large also involves leveraging your moments of brilliance. That you have moments of brilliance. And these are these flashes of inspiration or creativity, or when you're working with a client, or you have a dream, or you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, it's like, oh, that would be cool. That's the answer. Or this would be cool to try. We all have moments of brilliance. If you're passionate about something, if you're living and breathing something every day, then your moments of brilliance will come out about it. And you can leverage those moments of brilliance into products and programs. Create things out of thin air that really make a difference for people. One of the things, our most popular product here at Relationship Coaching Institute is the Communication Map. It is a one-page model of conflict resolution and effective communication. It's easy to understand. We give it away for free. People can just go to a website and download it, or the tutorial is freely available. Go to Communication Map Audio or CommunicationMapTutorial.com. We give it away. But also, it's very useful to have a physical copy, right in front of you. We have it laminated, and so we make it available on our website very affordably. And this whole product came out of my work with couples when I needed something I could do with them right away. And so I had moments of brilliance. Say, oh, okay, here's this arguing couple, I can do this. Or here's this arguing couple, how about if I were to propose this? And so these ideas, these moments of brilliance came together into the communication map. And it makes a tremendous difference for couples and for families and for the practitioners that, work with them. And I didn't start out to do this. I didn't have some idea, I need a whole new communication system. I'm gonna create one and I'm gonna package it and sell it. No, it came out of these little flashes, little moments of brilliance, and it morphed together over time. It took about 2 or 3 years actually to come together in workable form. And, the books that I've written, the programs that I developed, everything that I've accomplished have come out of moments of brilliance. This program, there's a lot of little moments of brilliance that came together for this program. And so this is how it tends to work. When you live and breathe something you love, when you're doing it every day, you get creative, you learn, you build on prior experiences, and you experience moments of brilliance in working with your clients or trying to solve a problem or trying to get your message out there more effectively or trying to reach more people. And so capture those moments of brilliance and leverage them. And to play large, you must be willing to take risk and stretch yourself. We can't play large if we're in our comfort zone, if we want to stay safe. And we're going to say no. You say, no, I don't feel comfortable speaking in front of people. Well, that's not how you play large, is by saying no to opportunities. So you play large by saying yes and be willing to take risk and stretch yourself. So when it became really, really clear that for me to play large and to further my mission, I needed to be an effective speaker. And my speaking skills weren't so great. I mean, I could do okay. But I needed to be a much better speaker. I hired a speaking coach. And I worked with that speaking coach for a year. I became a much better speaker because of it. And so I stretched myself. Do I want to talk? Do I want to get in front of a group of people? Do I want to spend, all my time one-to-many? Not always. But as part of my mission, I stretch myself because that's what it takes. And I'm glad to do it because the mission is much more important than me being comfortable. So be willing to take risk and stretch yourself. And as we mentioned, build community, don't be a lone ranger. If you want to play large, you can't be doing it all by yourself. So build a community of collaborators, of partners, of people that are like-minded and want to accomplish a similar thing. And then build community for the people that you want to serve. And, today's phenomenon of social media, what a clear demonstration that we need and value community. Social media is all about online community. And so it makes it easy for any one of us to build a community online. And we need to do it in person as well. But if we're going to play large, doing it by ourselves is not going to work. So collaborate and build a community of like-minded professionals and collaborators that share this mission and your vision, and build a community for the people that you want to serve as well, so that they can hang out, so that they can get support from each other and from you and your organization and your collaborators. And so that, ladies and gentlemen, is my best take on playing large and how to play large. And, you know, a little bit later we're going to be talking about the 5 steps for how to have fun, play large, and retire smiling. So let's get through retire smiling first. Now, to me, retire smiling means retiring when, how, and if you want to. So wouldn't it be nice to be aging and be happy? And how many of us know aging parents or grandparents or neighbors or relatives, and they retire and they're miserable? They don't know what to do with themselves. And there are shocking statistics about people that die within 1 or 2 years of retirement because they're depressed, because they don't know what to do with themselves. They, you know, it's like, okay, my life's over. You know, I don't want to do that. Wouldn't it be nice to age and be happy with aging, to really build a legacy and to experience the kind of accomplishment and, you know, here you are in the twilight of your life and you feel totally good about it. So retire smiling to me is retiring when and how and if you want to. You know, some folks look forward to retirement as, you know, I don't have to work anymore and I can play golf, I can have fun. And that's cool. And then you can retire smiling. Go for it. And others of us, you know, we want to be productive. You know, we want to do something meaningful with our life every day of our life. And, you know, when we're aging, we might want to do less of it, but we don't want to let it go totally. We still want to have meaning. We still want to have purpose. So to me, retire smiling means you retire when, how, and if you want to. This is what I want for everyone. I don't want people to retire reluctantly, to be forced into retirement, to be depressed in retirement and feeling useless. I want us all to retire smiling, be happy in retirement, and feel, you know, fulfilled and have meaning and purpose in retirement. So in my mind, you can retire smiling when you have financial freedom. And again, my definition of financial freedom is not that you're rich, but you have access to money anytime you want. You have enough money for what you need, for what you want, and if you need more, no problem. You can get more money anytime you want. That, to me, is financial freedom. And then there's no such thing as job security. The thing is, if you want to retire smiling and you're dependent upon your job to help you do that, you know, good luck. You know, it used to be that job provided pensions and generous retirement benefits, and you could retire, you know, secure and be taken care of. You know, all your health benefits and your income are taken care of now for life. Well, I'm part of the baby boomer generation, and that's not true for us. There's no such thing as job security anymore and retirement security because there's no job security anymore. So we have to provide our own security. And so retire smiling for most of us means that we take responsibility for and provide for our own security. Most of us will need to supplement our retirement income. We are living way longer than in the past. And our retirement years are much, much longer than in the past. We're talking 20 to 30 years beyond retirement age. So our money, our resources need to last that long. And most of us will need to supplement our retirement income to have the kind of lifestyle that we want. And you can retire smiling if you have a way to supplement that income that you find fun, that you find comfortable, that you want to do, not because you have to, because you want to do. The cool thing about being a coach, and especially, you know, any private pay health professional, whether you're an accountant or, you know, even a therapist, just a few clients can support your retirement lifestyle. 2, 3 clients, you know, per month or per week. That's all it takes. And as you age, you have more and more experience, you have more and more to offer. You will have no trouble getting clients. This is the cool thing about paying your dues. When you pay your dues, meaning you go through the struggling years of, training and practice and getting skillful and building your business and the ability to market and get clients, that when you pay your dues, everything becomes smooth sailing and easy after that. People seek you out because you're good at what you do and because they've heard about you. And before that, you got to market really hard. The day will come after you've been marketing hard, if you're good at what you do, the day will come that you don't have to market anymore. You've established yourself, and the clients just keep coming. And as you age and you get into retirement and you want to work with fewer clients, then you will pick and choose, and you will refer the rest to others. This really can happen. If you're good at what you do, if you paid your dues, by the time you reach retirement age, you can pick and choose your clients. Just a few clients can support your lifestyle, and they are not easy to get because they're constantly coming to you. You can retire smiling knowing that you are creating a significant legacy. We feel good about our life, we feel good about aging because we've accomplished a lot, because we've contributed a lot, because the world is a better place because of us. Isn't that cool? I mean, that's definitely what I'm shooting for. I mean, in truth, I already feel like, I've accomplished that now. I feel like, honestly, without hubris, that the world is a better place because of David Steele. And I don't have to do anything more, and that would be fine. But I'm not done. No way. And to me, it is totally fun to play large, and I'm looking forward to retiring smiling, knowing that I've created a significant legacy. I've made a difference in the world. The world is a better place because of my efforts. And what I care about is not just making money or manufacturing widgets or digging ditches or, checking out people at the grocery store, even though those are fine jobs. They're fine ways to make money. What I care about is making the world a better place in the way that I feel called to do it, which is in the world of relationships. So this is what I'm shooting for. This is what I want for all of us, is to retire smiling knowing that we have made a difference in the world. We have created a significant legacy because of our efforts. Our efforts have meant something. So, how do you do that? How do you have fun, play large, and retire smiling? 5 things. That's it. I don't see a need for much more. First is to design and create our dream job. This is going where your energy wants to go. You have a choice of what to do with your time. And you might as well do what it is you really want to do and find a way to be paid for it, to make a living from it. For me, I have no choice. I feel suffocated doing anything else. I have to make a living at doing what I love. Got no choice. And so design and create your dream job. And if you didn't have to worry about security, if you were willing to stretch your comfort level, then you could do that. And what would that look like? If you don't believe it's possible, you're not going to do it, of course. But it is absolutely possible. You can design and create your dream job. And then trust yourself. It's like, you're on this planet for a reason. You have passion and energy for whatever this is for a reason. The universe wants you to be successful at it. The world needs you. And so trust yourself that you can make it happen, that you can find a way. Do what you love. This is when you settle, when you make security-oriented choices, you are going farther and farther away from doing what you love to doing what you think you have to do to make money. Well, if you believe that money's there, you can make money doing what you love, or you can make money doing what you hate. You can make just enough to pay your bills, or you can, make enough to send your kids to college. You can make as much money as you want. If you believe that, then there's no reason not to not do what you love. If you're scared, if you believe that there's only so much money in the world and that, you have to get what you can take, that you have to worry about survival, you have to worry about where your next paycheck's coming from, then all your decisions tend to be focused on that. So focus on doing what you love, and you will find ways to make that happen, because there's always a way. The cool thing is that the what is much more important than the how. And here's why. Because there's always many, many ways to accomplish things. There's many, many ways that work. But often we get stuck because we don't know how. Well, how can I market? How can I get clients? How can I start a new business? How can I let go of my job? There's many, many ways. So we don't need to hold back and not do it because we don't know how. We just need to find the ways. We just need to get support. Because chances are, if we don't know the answer, somebody else does. Because there's many, many people that have accomplished what we want to accomplish. So here's the secret. If you want to accomplish something or you want to solve a problem, go find somebody who has accomplished that or solved that problem and ask them how they did it. And, find 5 people. Because, believe it or not, we are not unique. We are not the only one in the world that experienced this. That the human condition is pretty universal. And there's a lot of people that share your passion, that have accomplished what you want to accomplish. How have they done it? And what can you learn from them? And so the what is more important, because that is your passion. That is what you want to create and what you want to accomplish. And this is your life, and this is where your energy wants to go. So what it is way more important than the how, because once you're clear about what it is, then you can get creative and find solutions for making it happen. But you have to believe that there's a way. There's always a way. If you don't believe it, then it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Of course it's not going to happen. So to me, this is crucial. This is so important that the what is more important than the how. There's many, many ways to accomplish anything. You don't have to worry about the how. But I've seen so many of us hold back because we don't know how, or we don't believe we can do it because we don't know how. And here's number 5, 5 out of 5. This is it. Get the support you need. And to me, coaching made such a huge difference. It transformed my life, not just because it gave me a new direction professionally, but I hired a coach. And I've worked with coaches on and off throughout in the past 17 years. And so I am where I am. I've accomplished what I've accomplished. I've written those books. I've built RCI. I have made the difference in the world that I've been able to make. I am able to have fun and play large and retire smiling because I've gotten the support that I need. And believe me, it was not easy for me to do that. I'm a guy. Asking for help does not come easy. I don't like to read the manual. I like to do things myself. But this is way bigger than me. And so I needed support. I got help. I asked for help. And not everybody I hired or every coach I worked with, was the ideal. I've wasted a lot of money. I've tried things out that didn't work. But then I've spent a lot of money that was well spent, and I've tried things out that did work, and I've had good coaches. So, you can't hold back because you're worried about whether or not it'll work. You got to do it anyway. Some things will work and some things won't. But it's not going to happen if you don't get the support you need. So those are my 5 strategies for how to have fun, play large, and retire smiling. And when you think about it, they're very doable. Can you design and create your dream job? And most of us can. Yes, here's exactly how I want to spend my day. Can you trust yourself? Well, you can choose to. Can you do what you love? Well, if you trusted that the universe would take care of you and that, you'd find a way to pay your bills, yes, you could. Can you believe there's always a way? Do you get it that what is more important than how? And can you get the support you need? If you can do those, you can have fun, play large, and retire smiling. And so for me, coaching is such an integral part of this whole thing because you can become a coach, you can have financial freedom, you can get clients whenever you want, you can follow your passion much more easily and effectively as a coach, in my experience, than just about anything else. And so here's my top 10 reasons why coaching is the ideal profession and retirement profession. Number 1, it's affordable to get started. And the startup costs are almost nothing. It's very fast and easy to get going. It's, you can start from scratch, from zero, and get paying clients within 3 to 6 months. I don't know any helping profession that can do that. And this isn't scamming people either. This is providing real value. And if you have a service that provides real value, you can charge for it and feel good about it. And the reason I say 3 to 6 months is, what do you need to do in the first 3 to 6 months? You need training and you need practice. So the training is not that big a deal, and getting practice clients is easy. And as you practice and you get better at what you're doing, you become more comfortable for it and with it. And as you start experiencing your practice clients getting results, then you develop confidence. You are providing real value. And that is when you can start charging. If you're not confident yet, if you don't have a proven track record of providing real solid value for the people you help, you're not ready to charge. So go ahead and continue practicing until you get there. It's not that big a deal. It doesn't have to take a long time. It's ideal because you can have a flexible lifestyle. You can work from anywhere. And coaching lends itself very well to telephone or internet. You can work in person or you can work virtually. You can have a flexible schedule. You can work any time you want. You can work as little or as much as you want. It's portable. If you have a coaching practice, you can, work from anywhere. You can take your business with you wherever you go. It's profitable. The overhead is pretty low, and you just need a few clients to support your lifestyle. And when you add it up, one of the best exercises that I've ever done, this is when I was a therapist and I really wanted to let go of insurance dependence on the insurance industry, and receiving insurance referrals of people that I did not do my best work with them. I did not, they weren't up my alley. And I wanted to let go of that, but I was financially dependent upon it. Well, I added up how much I needed in dollars to replace that insurance income. And then I divided it by how many private clients I would need to replace that insurance income. And at the time, I came up with the number 3. All I needed was 3 private pay clients per week to replace that insurance income that I was so dependent upon. Then it became a very reachable, achievable number. And then it became easy. Yeah, and it motivated me. to market and to, reach out and to find ways to get those private pay clients, and I was able to do so pretty quickly. So for me, just 3 clients made the difference between having the practice that I really wanted and being, dependent upon security, the security of insurance referrals and insurance reimbursement. Number 7 in my top 10 reasons why coaching is the ideal profession and retirement profession is it is fun. You can work because you want to, not because you have to, and you can do the kind of work that you really want to. That, to me, is fun. It is meaningful because as we age, we desire to help others. We desire to mentor. We want to leave a legacy, and that's what's meaningful to us. When we're young and, say, in our 20s or 30s or whatever, there might be more about, making money and getting a house and having a nice car and, all that material stuff so that you can have a family and support your family. But as we age, we've already been there, done that. We've already had the nice car. We already have the nice house. We already made a lot of money. What becomes more meaningful to us is making a difference in the world, is helping others and mentoring. So coaching really, really lends itself to us, allows us to do that and make a living at it. And number 9, it's stimulating. We learn new things, and helping others keeps us sharp and energetic. Can you imagine being a coach, working with a client, whether it's a single or a couple or executive or whatever kind of coach you want to be, in your 90s? Can you coach in your 90s? Sure. All you got to do is just listen and talk, right? But when you're 90, you have a whole wealth of experience and training, and you can be way more effective than you could in your 20s, 30s, and 40s. And so whoever your client is, and when you're a coach in your 90s, they're going to be a privileged client, because you're not going to work with a whole lot of clients when you're 90. But the one you are going to work with, they're going to benefit from working with you tremendously, and they are going to keep you young and sharp and energetic. I mean, that's my vision for myself. When I'm in my 90s, I still want to be doing this in some form. Sure, relaxing on a beach is great, but, that becomes boring and old after a while. So being stimulated, learning new things, and helping others keeps us sharp and energetic well into our 90s. And then there's financial security. For most of us, retirement benefits are limited, and we will probably outlive our savings. And having financial freedom, having the ability to get a client whenever you want, make money whenever you want or need to, that is, to me, the definition of financial security. I am secure because my income, my ability to pay my bills, is not dependent upon anything or anybody else other than me. And that is freeing. And for some people, that's scary. That's why, they really want a job, because they don't feel capable of making the money themselves. They want to work for somebody else so they can get a paycheck. And if that's you, that's okay. But if you want financial freedom, financial security, if you want to not be dependent on somebody else to pay your bills, then you need to embrace and take responsibility for generating your own income. And while it might be scary at first, it is freeing. It becomes fun. So, that's everything I have for you today. That is how to have fun, play large, and retire smiling. And hopefully I've made a decent case for how coaching might fit into that, because here at Relationship Coaching Institute, this is what we do. That we want to train and support you to become a coach, to choose a niche, to be of service to that niche, to build a highly successful business being of service to that niche. That's what we do. So if you haven't yet, please download our Relationship Coach Starter Kit at rcistarterkit.com. And if you haven't yet, make an appointment to talk with us. Let's talk about your situation, about your goals, and, how we might help you, what some ideas and strategies occur to us that how you could have fun, play large, and retire smiling. So that's a little bit of a pitch, but really today, for me, was mostly about sharing the message that you can have fun, play large, and retire smiling. You can have, the best life possible. And having a great life is not dependent upon anything or anybody else other than you, and that is freedom. And I want that for you. Thank you very, very much for joining us. This was a really, really important program for me to do today. It is really important for me to have fun with my work, to play as large as I can, to make the biggest difference in the world that I can, and to age with meaning and purpose and financial freedom. And this is what I want for you. This is what I want for everyone. So if we here at RCI can help you in any way, please do let us know. So thanks for joining us, and we will talk to you soon. Bye for now.